Hello from Frozen Frontiers. It's been a bit, but at you with another update video here. Truck's been running great. At first I didn't do anything. I just, repoed it from the mechanic guy that sat on it for 2 months, cost me a bunch of money in rental fees, and didn't do anything with it. I didn't do anything. I just charged the batteries all the way up, started it up, ran it for a little while. I did get the IDM replaced in it, which is just underneath this front quarter panel right here. It's like right here. So really all I had to do was take the screws off of the wheel well housing, pull that down, and unscrew. It was 10mm bolts that went into it. 3 of them. Unscrew those, popped right out, put the new one in, screw the 3 bolts back on, and then put the wheel well stuff back on. It was 30 minutes to fix the job, and some people, man. A couple other things I've done to the truck. I'll post here these videos now. So, got a new one of these. This is the antifreeze reservoir. I'll show you why I had to get a new one. So, first off, there's a big old hole right there. Second off, see how that's flexing into there? Yeah, it looks like the, oh, yeah, that's a problem. So note to self, don't put these on antifreeze reservoir. They'll melt right through it. Well, I don't know what I did, but it's working. Very cool. Well, so that was cool. I got a big old hole in my radiator. I did also install a block heater. The block heater it's pretty close to, you can actually see the old block heater cable coming down right here. So the block heater is like, don't close, please. I don't want to re-record this. The block heater is like right back in there. You can kind of see the little orange piece. I just plugged a new cable into it and it started working. So I've got a new actual like block heater unit for it if that does ever break, but I just put that in one of my totes in here. So I got that actually like fixed and working. Now I just plug the cable in that's sitting out here that's completely frozen into the snow. I probably shouldn't be using it for power, but it still works, so I'm using it. Plus, I mean, if it shorts out, what does it do? Melt the snow? That's great. Cool. I know it could probably do a lot more than that. So the other bit is the generator here. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone because they would not come out to service it. They pulled up to this road and got to the T down there and decided it was too treacherous and turned around and went home. Which is really, really annoying and very frustrating. So I just ripped it out and took it into them. They said that it's going to take, they actually didn't give me a time because they have to order an entirely new engine for it. Because apparently the seal that broke, it's easier to replace the whole engine than it is to replace the seal. So that's great engine design, by the way. Generac, get on top of it. So dumb. So I don't know how long that's going to be to get in, but waiting on that. Then this will all be tidied up again and blah, blah, blah. Very frustrated with that generator. I needed it over the winter. It's halfway through the winter and I've been able to use it like twice. So that's fantastic. Don't buy Generac, folks. It's not a good brand. Not a good brand. At least the 10kW. Not a good brand. Not a good engine, anyway. Here's another big update. Brandon was out this last weekend and we got some shelves built in here. So that now I've got not just like desk space workspace, but I can actually like store all of my tools. This has to be in here because I don't have a cover for it and it can't get wet. This is the generator I'm running off of right now. The propane side of it stopped working. I ordered new parts to fix it, but I've just been filling it up with gas. It would take about 3 gallons per day to power my house. It's like $10 per day for power, which is quite a bit, but it'd be nice if that propane was running because that's half the cost. So yeah, we've got a light up here. I left my charging cable out here, so I've got a phone charger. That's cool. And yeah, the way that we did this is you put in these little notches here, and then it just slides in and out on them. We put lids on everything. I'm gonna be honest, I'll probably take the lids off of everything except the bottom 3. Bottom 3 is like stuff I don't use very often, don't get into very often, and trying to get into these with lids on them is kind of a pain. I'm going to build more over here. Just ran out of space, and with the pellets here, it's kind of, hard to work around. I need to figure out a different place to store these pellets. Probably build something over by my actual house so they're closer and I don't have to lug, 80 pounds every other day in. Then coming into here, not really much changed in here. Well, actually, there was a couple things that changed in here. Oh, cool. That light was actually on, so let's pull that. Could have just had that on the whole time. That'd have been nice for video. I re-insulated this whole room, and we got plywood put on the outside. So that plywood actually made a pretty big difference. Before I did the re-insulation on the ceiling, it was like 35 degrees in here when it would be minus 25 out. It immediately jumped up to, with the plywood on it, it jumped up to like 50 degrees. And now, that was on heat setting 5, which is the highest on the temperature thing. And now, on heat setting 2, we're at 58 degrees. So quite a bit better. Quite a bit better. And what I did for the ceiling, I don't know why I didn't just do this in the first place, probably because I was almost out of insulation. Instead of running them this way along the boards, I just ran them this way. And then the boards support the insulation in the middles. And I just stapled them in on the ends. Tried to fill in all the gaps that I could. It stays really warm in here now. I can put this ladder away now. Move that to here and take it out after I'm done with this. And Brandon came up with this ingenious door handle situation where before I had to pull all that out and pull a thing out, and it makes, I should just buy doorknobs because yeah, it doesn't make sense that I don't have doorknobs. Well. So I had to move this tank. I'll explain why. And these cables, I know it's a little bit ghetto, but I don't have the wall plug put on back there yet, so I have to run these cables over to here. Anyway, what was happening is all of this was right next to the floor. This heater in here, it does a pretty good job. This place isn't insulated properly. You can see, like right above this board, there's gaps. Above this board, there's gaps. So the temperature in here, right here is the temperature monitor. Temperature in here right now is 55, but right down by the floor, especially back in that corner, would get cold enough to freeze the water in these pipes. Well, I had heat wrap and heat tape around these pipes, like you can see back here. There's heating cable, you can see it bridging the two. There's heating cable. I had heating cable down there, but to run all of that all the time takes a lot of power, so I didn't run it all the time. Well, it would freeze up, and then, so pressure switch right here. What this does is when you're over a certain PSI, this PSI meter right here is now off by 10, and I have no idea why. When it's empty, it sits at 10. So I'm really at 60 psi, well, just above maybe 60 psi. Well, when this gets down to 40, the pressure switch turns on. Fan tipped over. When it gets above 60, pressure switch turns off. So it keeps you between 40 and 60 psi. Well, what would happen is when the ice would come in through here, it'd mess up this gauge, and then it'd come in through here and get clogged up in this gauge. Then what would be happening is the psi would be going in and out because the ice is melting and forming and melting and forming, getting more and more blocked up in there. So this would go from like 5 psi to 50 psi to 5 psi, and it would just trip this on and off and on and off. Well, that burned up one of the well pumps that I got. So I thought that this time when it stopped working, that it had done the same thing. There's not any lights back here, but this is just general storage for stuff that I'm not using very often, like, you know, extra wood panels, my sawhorses, this propane heater, which comes in real big handy. The kayaks are back there. There's some other stuff in the back, but it's just general storage. It's really cold in this room. Holy cow. And then I've got shelves behind here just, you know, for other stuff. So nothing really all that crazy. The next thing that I'm going to do in here, which I think I might have mentioned in one of the other videos, I got to put my doorknob back on. There we go. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. So the next thing I'm going to do for in here is change the way that these batteries are all connected. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in the last video. I got the bus bars. Bus bars I'm probably going to put here and maybe here. But basically each of these will plug into a different slot on the bus bar. And then from the middle of each bus bar will come out and go to the batteries instead of, or into the inverters. Instead of the inverters going to, you know, first battery and then first battery chaining to the second battery, second to the third. What I end up with is this battery will be at like 20%. And then the batteries in the middle of the chain, which are these two, will end up at like, I don't know, 60% by the time that these are down to 20 to 30%. So it's a little bit annoying right now, but I mean, it works. It's just kind of annoying. And these batteries are getting more use than the other batteries. So want to switch that up. What else to talk about in here? I don't think that there's much more for in here. Turn this light off. Come back out here. So a couple other things that I want to do out here is put my bit back in the door so it stays closed. I want to get some of that pegboard to put back behind here so I can put little pegs on the walls and hang stuff up that I use either frequently or infrequently, like this axe. Don't use that very often. I mean, I actually kind of do, but I also don't. This thing's still holding a charge. It is. Wow, that's surprising. This is where that gap filler went, and it is probably no good anymore because it is freezing. Let's see if this thing says storage temperature. Don't expose can to over a certain amount of temperature. Keep away from sparks. I don't think I see anything about freezing on here, so these might still be good. Yeah, I don't see anything about freezing, so it might still be good. I think I've got like 4 or 5 of them. But yeah, each of these drawers just has, you know, a bunch of stuff in it that I'll use. This top drawer is really heavy, and this is like my tools drawer. Probably gonna reorganize that one because it's really heavy. It's got a bunch of stuff in it. Turn this light off now and head back out into the unknown. Into the actual, like, very known. I I'm not sure that I mentioned it or not in the last video, probably not. But I got some of my panels out. And I'll show you what those look like. So, to keep the wire off of the ground and to keep it from freezing, I just brought it up into the trees and then over. I used like fabric cable to put it up there so that it doesn't rupture the side of the cable and then start sparking or arcing. Because, you know, being tied to a dead tree and having sparks fly off would be great and all, but I'd rather avoid that. So, oh, it's Mr. Brickles. Look at that kitten. He's just a sweet baby. So cute. My goodness, buddy. So yeah, I just put them up really quick. Hooked them all together. There's 10 of them right now. I need to get the other ones hooked up. They're all still leaning up against the side of the container here. But so 10 of them right now. I've seen up to 400 watts so far. And that's without optimizers on each one. That's without them all being faced in the same exact direction. That's also with the sun being, that's almost as high as the sun gets. I think the sun gets up to like here right now. So I start generating power at like 8:45 in the morning and then stop at like 5:30 or 6, something like that. So I still get some pretty decent, well, I say pretty decent, it's really not that great considering each of these panels has a max of 500 watt output. There's some stuff that we've done inside, but I'm not going to show that until I've actually finished it up. It's the kitchen. We redid the countertop, and I'll actually have a stove top next time I show you. I'm hoping to get that installed this weekend. Last time we installed, and I'll probably mention this when I'm going over it. Last time we installed the countertop, we tried to take the moldings off that we've used to form the concrete too early. And that, my hair probably looks stupid because I've been wearing a beanie all day. That didn't really work out for us very well. If you watched any of those ones, that we broke the countertop. And it cracked in a couple places, so I'm giving it a whole week this time before I try and rip anything off. And I'm hoping it'll be better. Yeah, but no, I think that that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to get some word out there on what's been going on up here, and there's, you can tell there's not been any more snow. It's been a very, I don't know if I would call it a dry winter because we've got a lot of rain, like a lot of rain, but it's definitely been a not very snowy winter. Temperature outside right now is probably like -5. It's actually not too bad today. All last week and last weekend it was like -20 during the day and -25 at night. It's pretty chilly. But yeah, you can see like right here, I've even got dirt on the ground. And right up here next to the container, there's also dirt on the ground. It's just, can't really get away from it. This car, I haven't been able to get it running. I think that the last thing it needs is a fuel pump, and it's in the back of the car right now. I just haven't replaced it yet. I'm standing on top of a crap ton of water. It's probably like 6 inches deep. This is where I fell through. I'll show a video of that now.
Well, this looks crunchable. Let's see if it is crunchable. Oh, I don't like that sound. Ah! Oh, now my foot is all wet, man. Yeah, that was water. This is very crunchable. I'll have to go change my shoes now. And socks. Foot is sticking to the ground after that. Could it be more crunchy?
There's also a new hole in the side of my container, and I will show that in another video when the inside of that is done. But it's a really big difference in energy savings, I'll tell you that much. So it'll be interesting if I get this car running before the snow all melts, because these wheels are pretty they're pretty sunk in there. So if I get it started, I might have to pull it out with my excavator, because I don't think that that little tiny motor would be able to break that ice off of that wheel. Is this crunchable? It is crunchable. Not very crunchable. But yeah, no, everything's been pretty chill. We got a lot of stuff organized. There's a bunch of stuff in Brandon's container now, so it's not taking up quite as much space in mine. I'm gonna try and get like an actual fun video out pretty soon. I have an idea of something that I want to do, because Brandon and I went exploring on my lot while he was here, and I want to try and do something fun, but we'll see how it actually works out. Hopefully I can get a video out about it, because I think it's actually going to be really cool if I can get it. Another thing I forgot to mention that I did, burned up my fingers pretty good. So, word to the wise, when you're plasma cutting the side of a container, wear gloves. Because if the insulation lights on fire, the plasma cutter's blowing out a bunch of air, and then that fire gets basically like blown. It's like a flame torch, and that was like a split second, just instantly burned my fingers. They've been super fun to deal with for a couple days. Threw some ointment on them first couple days, and now it's just scabs. So, but yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, and wherever you're at, I hope you're having the best time you can.